Hours with Dr. G. I'm your host, Dr. G, and I am so glad that you could keep our appointment. Now, tonight's guest, Xavi Zayn, is a spiritual counselor, motivator, tarot card reader, and most importantly, a vessel of the Most High. She has been walking in her purpose for the past 4 years and finds great joy helping others across the globe become the best version of themselves. Xavi Zayn uses various spiritual gifts, including her intuitive wisdom, dreams, and tarot readings to guide others in their physical, spiritual, and emotional growth. She currently has a YouTube podcast called Xavi Zaine Tarot Investigator, which covers various topics on all things spiritual. Well, she is well known across YouTube as a spiritual counselor, and tonight we are going to discuss, and she's also going to demonstrate how intuitive insight can reveal life's mysteries. Please help me welcome for the very first time, but I know not the last time, to Office Hours with Dr. G, tonight's guest, Xavi Zayn.
That's me.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Dr. G.
Music is still playing.
Okay.
All
right. I like that.
Yeah, so if we can just get into a little groove.
Okay.
Yeah, that's me. And I think the people like to hear the music too, so we just rock a little bit while we do that. How y'all doing? While we're rocking out to the opening intro, why don't you hit that like and that share? And if you have not already done so, please subscribe to my channel. Please, pretty please. But tell somebody that Xavi Zayn is here on Office Hours with Dr. G, and you don't know what's going to come out of this, because this lady is super intuitive, super psychic, and she knows how to tell you what the cards are saying. So tell somebody now. You got a few minutes to do that. Yeah, right now. Share, y'all.
Yes.
Wow. Welcome to Office Hours with Dr. G. I am so excited to have you here. I was telling you off camera before we went live how I came across you one day on YouTube, and I don't know exactly what you were saying, but you had your finger to the pulse of what was going on. You were interpreting a dream and telling about, I think it was over for them and what was going to happen going forward. And I was like, woo! And I sat and I listened and I said to myself, got to get her on the show. And so I am so happy to be able to make that happen. And I shared your video, that particular one, with a few people who said, oh, yeah, I've heard of her. So I know that you have a worldwide audience that listens to you, particularly because you have such insight into so many things. So I'm happy again to have you here on the show.
Yes, thank you for having me, Dr. G.
Yeah, so listen, it says that you have been walking in your purpose for 4 years, but I'm thinking that maybe you knew who you were or the gifts that you had maybe before that. Tell us a little bit before we get into, because I know you're gonna maybe pull some cards and let us know what's going on, but tell us a little bit about you and, did you always know that you had these gifts?
I wouldn't say that I've always been aware of having these gifts. They kind of just came in once I became consciously aware of taking a narrow path spiritually. One of the first things that I asked for when I first put up my altar and became consciously aware of taking the spiritual path was wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. And so I knew that there was a lot of things that I did not know that I wanted to know. And at the time, I was more so on the surface of life. I was working as a registered nurse and, more concerned about the regular everyday, living, paying bills and taking care of my household and things of that nature. But the dynamics began to change once I opened up the door to spirituality. And that's when I knew that there was a lot that I was unaware of, especially when it came to the power of the mind and being able to create through your thoughts. And manifestations and all of these different things. And so I definitely asked for wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and it was granted to me. So my gifts were actually awakened. I feel like they were dormant and asleep prior to me coming into this understanding. But no, I definitely did not. I did not know. Of course, I always had my intuition, but I never really had an understanding of that concept either, because I was disconnected from what that really meant. So yes, once I began to awaken to my gifts on a personal scale, just using it for myself, I started to see, okay, I can use my intuitive wisdom to go within, to dive deeper, and to find out where my wounds are, what needs to be healed, what needs to be cleared out, and how I can become the best version of myself. And then from there, once I have risen, I can use that and help others with what's been shown to me through my journey. So I would definitely, my apologies there. So I would definitely say that that is where I began in terms of my spiritual path.
Okay. Did you have any, a lot of times, sometimes there are, look, I see you down there. A lot of times there are pivotal things that occur in our lives sometimes, and that cause us to have this awakening, and or something, and and it could be good, bad, or indifferent. For me, of course, it was just, I wasn't even doing anything but sitting somewhere and being the thing happened. Did can you pinpoint when your awakening occurred, or was it maybe a process that you had to go through, and like you were talking about, I don't know whether you were talking about doing shadow work or any of those things, but was there any like it's like, bing, one day I woke up and I just knew what I knew?
Yeah, actually, I gained exposure about crystals through a YouTube video. I had no idea about any of these tools to be able to awaken your energy or whatnot, or to balance out your energy. And I saw a woman, she was talking about green crystals, and I was like, well, what are these things? And so I went and I did purchase some out of curiosity. And I remember one day just laying down, and I had all 7 of my crystals, because I purchased a little crystal kit. And I laid down and I said, okay, I'm going to meditate. But I was laying flat on my back, and I put the amethyst crystal on my forehead. And I said, okay, well, I want to open up my third eye. And so I laid there and I did deep breathing. And literally in that moment, I heard a pop. It was like almost like a light bulb that just, when it goes off, you hear like a pop. That's what I saw. And I saw a light in my, with my eyes closed. I just saw it. And so I knew that my third eye had been opened in that moment. But of course, all of my gifts didn't just suddenly awaken at that time, but it opened me up to seeing past the surface. It showed me something that I had never understood. So from that point on, I just started doing a lot of things spiritually. I was guided. It's like my spiritual team, which for me is, the Most High, my holy angels, my ancestors of love and light, and so many others in the spiritual realm that have been guiding me. I would be led to certain videos or certain books. I remember walking into the Barnes and Nobles one day and being shown a book about string theory. And in that moment, I just picked it up. I knew nothing about it, nor did I read it. But for some reason, even just picking up the book and holding it awakened something within me. And it really sparked the curiosity to know more about energy and all of these different things. And so I had a strong disconnection from metaphysics, anything outside of the physical. I didn't know anything about about this. And so I would say that moment. And then also I watched a video, another YouTuber called You Are Awakened. You Are Creators. And he was talking about how the mind is soil and how you have to plant seeds in the mind through your thoughts, and you water it through your emotions and all of these things. And so everything just began to make sense. And this was literally a few months prior to one of my oldest daughters being diagnosed with brain cancer. And so I knew that this was happening, though, because I needed to be in the right mindset and knowing that my mind created things going into that type of situation. So it's like the Most High was preparing me for something that, had I not been exposed to these things, I could have literally created the worst case scenario through the energy of fear. But I think that I was awakened at that time in my life to prepare to be strong and to project the right energy so that she would be healed. And today she is perfectly fine, healthy, and strong. Okay, and this is years later. So during that time, going to the hospital, I would get like, doctors telling me the worst case scenario and, scare tactics and things of that nature. And I just knew. I would look at them and I would say, no, that's not going to be her. And I knew this. It wasn't me believing it or hoping it. I knew this with conviction. I knew it because I had already been exposed to understanding the energy of the mind and thoughts. And so I feel like everything happened for a reason. When it happened, I was supposed to awaken at that time in my life. Yes.
Yeah, that's interesting. That you would say that, because you're right. I'm going back to the allopathic medical profession, and you were in it as a nurse, and a lot of times, excuse me, they are actually planting seeds. I have a friend and colleague who is an herbalist, and he's been on here, I think maybe once or twice, and Brother Dave. And I don't want to mess up his testimony, but the bottom line is he was diagnosed with one thing. He went to an herbalist, a very renowned herbalist at the time, melanated, who ended up, curing him through natural methods. But when he went back to the allopathic or the conventional medicine, because they'd already did the diagnosis and so forth, and by the time he ended up going back, he was feeling so much better, from the diagnosis, that when he went to the doctor said, well, you should go on and have the biopsy anyway, because we've already basically said what you said. We've already made the diagnosis, or we've already planted the seed. And that is what what happens, I believe, to a lot of people. They go, and the belief that we've learned to put in those who are practicing, medicine, who have a medical practice, we believe that they have our best interests at heart, when a lot of times they absolutely, let me see how I can say this. I don't want to say anything, but they are looking towards a red book a lot of times, put out by the industry, that tells you if you got this symptom or that symptom, then you need to do this. And 9 times out of 10, it has some type of negative side effects.
Right.
If you do this, it kills these cells that are bad, but it also kills the good ones, or, it does whatever the side effects. So yeah, you have to have your mind set on your own outcome. And in the case of a child, for your child, you have to have it for your child, because a lot of times children don't have enough knowledge to have the faith to, contradict any negative diagnosis or prognosis. And so mom, dad, and family around them have to be the ones that, speak life.
Yes. And I was adamant about that. They would come into the hospital and say, well, we want to read her a book to teach her about her diagnosis. And I told them absolutely not, because that was going to plant in her mind, this is where I am. So I understood. And so I awakened at the right time in my life and at the right time in my child's life, to where now moving forward, I left my profession as a registered nurse unexpectedly. It's not something that I planned on doing, but obviously my path was not in that direction anymore. And so right before COVID, I had a few different situations that occurred that kind of pushed me into what some would say was the lowest point of my life, where I had lost everything. But I was gaining in the process. I lost everything material, but was gaining spiritual wisdom and knowledge and awakening my gifts and all of these things. And so I started practicing my gifts and building my gifts. And I'm here today to be able to say I'm a spiritual counselor, motivator, and I help others to awaken their own spiritual gifts, so that they're not stuck in the matrix, so to speak, not stuck in the belief systems of, society and conditioning, and believing that they can't come out of this situation. So I had to go through it so that I could help guide others through it.
Absolutely. And that's often how it is. You have to be the first partaker. And it's kind of hard sometimes to tell somebody, oh, you can make it, you can do this. And you've never had a trial, a test, a tribulation. And it's, you've never gone through anything, and you just kind of, you may have book knowledge, but you may not have practical applied knowledge, because you've been through something. And it has so much more credibility when it comes from your heart. when you've already
Yes.
been through. You can tell somebody that there's there's another side to it. You know, you don't get stuck in going through, but you're going through to come out. And so that's awesome. So you in this very short time, really 4 years, to have as much of much knowledge and wisdom as I've seen several of your videos and and what you do, and I know tonight I've asked you if you would pull cards or do some things, and I don't know what whether or not we'll have time to do any for anybody that comes, because we won't. Are you able to, if someone is in the actual chat but you don't see them, you could pull a card? Okay, cool. Yeah, I think they always like that. But when I wanted to ask you about the times that we're in, whatever we can say, safely, and we're about to get, fortunately, for this channel, we're getting ready to go kind of offline, so we can say whatever we want to.
Okay, nice.
Soon. Yeah, and we'll be able to say whatever we want to soon. But in what you can say safely, because you could say it on your channel, as far as the economic, we're hearing things about. Every time I look at my phone, something pops up about digital currency. Their banks taking your finances, and this happening, and IRS is hiring 8,000 new troll, whatever you want to call them, and to come and take your finances and all. It's like all of the gloom and doom, and we're still in charge. Don't believe what they say. We didn't come down. But I heard you say that they weren't.
Oh, in terms of being, no, they're not. They're definitely losing their power every day, every minute, every second, because we're in the time of awakening now. Being in the age of Aquarius, many people are awakening and withdrawing their energy on a spiritual level. And so because of this, that's what powered the system. That's what gave them, that foundation to maintain their power, was our permission and our belief that they were the source, and that everything that we needed could only come from that direction. And so, for me, creating that sovereignty begins in the spiritual realm first. You have to first know that you are free spiritually. You have to free yourself from that mindset of, certain belief systems, religions that might have been pushed on you, gods that might have been pushed on you, and just that boxed in perspective of the matrix. And so because we're awakening and we're starting to release ourselves from that energy and starting to become more expansive and stepping into our own divinity, that we're the generators to their system. And anytime you unplug a generator, the power becomes weaker and weaker. And so even when it comes to their currency, as you mentioned earlier, we're starting to see that is green paper with the energetic signature of an oppressor. You see what I'm saying? And so when you start to withdraw yourself, when you start to find your own self-value, you put less value on things like that, material. And so the less value you put on the material things that they made, the less value that it literally has in the physical realm, as above, so below. So we take that value away in the spiritual realm, and in the physical realm, it loses its value. And so I feel like they will be shifting maybe more into digital currency, because they recognize that the physical currency that they have right now is no longer, it's losing its position in society. And so I do see that shift taking place. But what's always shown to me first is the spiritual nature of what's happening, because I don't really put too much stock in what's going on in the physical unless it's shown to me that I need to pay attention to something. I'm not the type of person that checks into the news, because most of the time they're telling you what they want you to know and what they want you to project out there anyway. And so what I'm always shown is what is happening in the spiritual realm. And so because I'm seeing the spiritual reflection, I know there has to be a physical reflection of that. And so, yes, the beast of the system is now is caving in, it's dying, it's starving. And it is searching to, pull people back in. And so the only way the beast can pull you back in is through fear tactics, and using different things such as, okay, we have a food shortage. So what are we going to do? Put you in survival mode and things of that nature. But the more that we get back to our origin and recognize that we have everything that we need within us, as long as we know this to be true. then the less those tactics are, the less those tactics actually work on us as a group consciousness. So I just feel like we're withdrawing to the point where it's no longer effective. Yes. So that's what I'm seeing when it comes to like the currency specifically.
Okay. From a standpoint though of there seems to be an increased attack on certain groups of people, in particular, people like you and myself and our men. We're seeing more and more acts of aggression by those that have been we deem as protectors of the peace. They seemingly these, some call them police, some call them we call them policy enforcers or mercenaries, paid mercenaries, and there seems to be an increase in acts of aggression and towards our people. Do you see that as letting up? The cards do you see anything in the cards about us being able to become more autonomous, or we need to come together as a community and as a broader community? Yes. And as that's happening, do you see them backing off with any of those sorts of tactics, or is this like when you're going down, the ship's going down, and you want to take as many down with you as you go? Or
definitely, yes. Because like I continue to use the analogy of the beast, because that's how I see it. That's how it's been shown to me. And so anytime you have a beast that's starving, it becomes more aggressive. And so that is the physical representation of what's happening in the spiritual realm. And so, yes, there is a strong energy of this happening. We're finding our own peace and our own inner balance. Now, I don't know, did you want me to actually pull the cards on that specific subject? Is that what you were asking me to do?
Could you pull the cards on that?
Okay, to see why the system is becoming more aggressive against specific groups of people.
Yeah, like the melanated people. And our men, mainly our men, but just us. Yes, but I see some things happening with the women too. So it's our people. Yeah.
Yes. Raji, go get my pink basket out the closet for me, baby. I have specific cards that I use for the system. I would have been better prepared with those cards, but I should be able to find them when my baby brings them here. But okay. Yeah, it's what they're losing though is the power specifically of the melanated woman. I feel like we're withdrawing our energy more so. Sorry, I apologize for that.
That's okay.
Okay. We're withdrawing our energy to the point where I feel like we are somewhat awakening, maybe, I don't want to say at a faster rate, but it seems like the feminine energy awakens first. It's kind of what I'm being shown here. Not saying that the masculines are not awakening, but we're withdrawing our energy where they're not feeding off of our gifts to be able to create, because we possess special gifts of creating and having that divine connection to the Most High and all that is spiritual. So with this coming out in the reverse, they can feel us withdrawing our energy from them. And so I feel like it's also because they don't want us to, they want the melanated woman to feel powerless. If you see your man constantly being killed, murdered, beaten down, especially in the public eye, then it creates this energy of fear. And this is where they need us, feeling lack of confidence and feeling powerless and feeling insecure. And so this is really the fear tactic that they're using specifically against us. That is the main objective. And look at this, the magician is right behind that. And so this is the type of,
yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, this is the type of spell work that they're doing against our people, because actually these two cards together it does represent, for me, when I interpret it, spell work and dark magic. Okay. And so they're using this particular energy against us through our vision. When they're televising these murders and they're televising, the wickedness of the system to us is really to target the melanated woman so that we feel powerless and so that we go back into a space of submission, because they know that we are awakening our gifts. The spiritual warriors, I have a lot of, and you've already mentioned you have your group of women. Yes. And I've always mentioned, I see myself as a spiritual warrior, because one of the first things that was shown to me in my awakening was that after doing all of the work to heal myself and my generation, I had to then use that same energy and that same gift that was given to me to help, all of the chosen across the globe, all of the melanated people across the globe. And so I recognized that I had to start directing, breaking those curses and tearing down those contractual agreements and, doing the declaring and decreeing towards the system. I couldn't just use it on a personal scale. I had to, be self, I didn't want to sit in a selfish energy. So I had to project that energy outward to help others. And so they see this, and it's all manipulation. It's energetic manipulation to get you into a space of fear. So, oh my gosh, baby, I apologize.
That's okay.
Okay. Don't do that, okay? One moment, please. Okay.
That's what mommies do.
Yes.
Got to do what our babies
yes.
do.
So then you have the justice card here. They want us to get back into this space of relying on the system. That's the main thing. They want you to be in this space of feeling powerless. And so this is why they've been doing this against us, because the justice system, technically there's no justice in it. There's no integrity in it. But they want us to believe that if our men are being beaten down, that we have no protection. And so who do we go to? They want us to direct our energy towards them. They want us to forget that we possess powers and gifts, though. This is what they need. That energy of fear makes you go back and crawling back towards, religious institutions that feed you this, this belief system that says you have to direct all of your power to a different source outside of yourself. You don't have that divine connection that will allow you to awaken your gifts and to, transmute and alchemize energy. So this is what it's all about. So I hope that makes sense for you. I'm just.
It does, because in the fact that even the cards show that the divine feminine is awakening or reawakening and we're coming into our own sense of we are the ones that are going to have to make the changes that are going to have to be made. And so with women, and not just with the women are ready, but I'm hearing from sisters all over in different pockets that are forming groups, coalitions, if you will, or sisterhoods to go back to ancient practices of, just not relying on, like I said, for us, the weapons of our warfare are not carnal. We don't need guns and knives. We already had the power on the inside. If we would just put it together as a single mind, a mastermind with a master plan. Got a thing here says thinking of a master plan. That's behind it. We have to come with that mastermind and master plan, and all be on one accord. And and I read, I'm a Johnny come lately when it comes to some people that others have, writers that folks have been familiar with for years. But I was looking at a movie every now and then. I get to look at one, or a series on Netflix or something. I don't know if it was Netflix or whether it was that other thing, Amazon Prime, but it was called Riches. And it's, and it was in one episode where the sister says something to the effect, and she quotes an Audre Lorde, who was a feminist. She was, she was a feminist back in the, 50s and 60s and so forth. But she has an essay in one of her books where she says something to the effect that we have to know that you cannot use the master's tools to dismantle the master's house. And so that said to me, you're right. We've been trying to take the things they've taught us to dismantle them. You can't use their tools to take, apart what they've built. But what about our tools? What are we working with? What have we suppressed and buried? And it seems that this is like the time for women to come forth and say, yeah, let's join our forces together. Let's put our energies together and our minds together, our hearts together, most of all, because I believe that love is the greatest weapon of mass construction. If we would just love, we'd overcome a whole bunch of stuff. But I think we've been indoctrinated to be indifferent towards each other, and that's why we've not been able maybe to get further. But maybe now, with women coming back into the forefront, because we've been sitting, we've been in the back for a long time, going back to the way it used to be with a matriarchal system, not putting the men in, because we worked together back then,
Right.
because what's that old saying? Women are from Venus and men are from Mars, or Mars,
Right.
whatever that is. And so with that warring like spirit, you got a double thing. You got warfare, and most of the time it seems like the aggression is against each other more so than against what is the enemy. They've taught our brothers, our fathers, our sons to be aggressive against each other rather than the real enemy.
That's right. Yes, and I mean it's being pushed even further because I recently went to go see the Black Panther, the new one. And so you saw that in that movie too. It's been kind of played out where it's like, okay, we kind of war against, the Hispanic versus the melanated people, and then the enemy the oppressor sits back eating popcorn, watching the whole show play out,
Right.
And so
right.
it is being pushed in many different ways to kind of keep that in our mindset. We war up against one another. We take out all of that indignation, that anger towards one another because we don't project it towards the right ones that really deserve to receive that energy. And so, yes, I do see us coming back together and the feminine energy awakening our gifts again. And when you speak on love, that's why, for me personally, going through the healing process is so important, because you can't project the energy of love until you can actually put that towards yourself, and so that's why diving deeper, doing a childhood healing, inner child healing, and past life healing, and generational, your lineage, and all of these things is so important to clear that energy on a personal scale before you can actually step into that spiritual warrior mode. Because at that point, you have a lot of force behind you, that energy of love, that power, that inner strength, and you have that knowing. You recognize the power that you possess, and you have no doubt that what you're doing is going to be successful. So I had to do my own personal healing work before I came into a space of saying I could do any type of spiritual warrior work against the powers that were. I would not have even thought about it without doing it first towards for myself and for my own lineage. And so, yeah, it's a process to get there. But once we get there, and that's another thing too, balancing out the masculine and feminine energy, especially from within. We have to first have that internal balance of our own masculine and feminine before we can come together as male and female to like merge and bring our powers together to work, to work against the enemy. And so, yeah, I definitely agree 100% with everything, that you're saying.
Yeah. So could you pull any cards with regard to what I was just saying, like the success of this wave of matriarchal reawakening, how we are the divine feminine. Do you see? I'm sure that there will be opposition, without doubt, but the success of what will happen when we come together.
Okay, let's see. So what I have coming out first is the Eight of Swords in a reverse. This is coming out of that energy of feeling like there's nothing you can do about your circumstance. And the upright, that is the illusion that you are, that your hands are tied. But with this coming out in the reverse is definitely showing me that we see things, we see past the illusion, we see the power that we truly possess, and we come out of that energy of feeling imprisoned. The Chariot is in the reverse. And so I do feel that, for this card, it is showing that yin and yang energy, the black and white, masculine and feminine energy. There's still something off balance about us stepping into, our positions as the feminine energy. And it could be maybe an opposition from the masculine. Maybe, they might not be so ready mentally to, experience that awakening. So because even at the bottom of the deck, I have the Lovers in the reverse. There's something off balance here about even the idea of the feminine energy rising up and, being the spiritual warriors or bringing back that hierarchical type of system. So it could be the masculines that might be kind of against that right now, where they're having a hard time.
I have seen quite a few YouTubers, male, come up and speak against like the Woman King and some other things like just and that was pretty much what they were saying. Or they're trying to, get rid of put the man out. They're trying to write the man out. They're trying to, what I've seen and heard that on more than a few. And so that ties in with those cards coming up like that. But still there are quite a few brothers that I've talked to, men that I've talked to, who welcome the divine feminine coming into, or we coming into our rightful place. And so, yeah, there might be some conflict there, but that doesn't mean we don't do it. It means we are, yeah. So
yeah, I mean, it's very important. That go ahead. You were going to ask me a question.
No, I'm saying I don't know whether there's whether we should just try to get more of them on board and let them know that this is not a usurping of their authority. As a matter of fact, we want to help lift them up to their rightful place as divine mothers, because they're still our sons. They're not just our husbands and fathers, but they're our sons. And so we always want the best. So if, I think, is it bringing back the historical past that there was a time when the divine feminine kind of held everything together and we worked together with the divine masculine in a team coexisting as opposed to opposition, uncovering that historical truth. Do you think that's what might need to happen?
Right. Maybe taking them, bringing them into remembrance. And I feel like, a lot of the awakened masculines, they do dive back into history. Many of them possess a lot of, book knowledge on where we stood, in history as the feminine energy and the masculine energy. They're aware of it. The question is acceptance. Can they accept it? And so I just, with the Nine of Pentacles coming out in the reverse, I feel like we have a lot of cards coming out in the reverse when it comes to this particular subject. And it's because the perception of what's right versus wrong is kind of skewed at this point. It's because of the conditioning. So it's just, I feel like it's a matter of getting back to, flipping it back around, because the enemy is going to show you everything backwards. And so I feel like it's been kind of internalized and, they've absorbed it from one generation to the next, to the point where at this point it's kind of difficult, especially because the Nine of Pentacles in reverse can deal with like codependency. It can deal with financial strife, hardship. And so it feels like the masculines have been stripped so much of their power, even when it comes to material wealth and abundance in a lot of ways, that it's hard for them to embrace the feminine energy having that much power when so much has been taken from them. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I feel like it will take, like you mentioned, the mother, it's going to take a certain amount of nurturing. And that's why that loving energy is so important. And that's why I've done videos about the divine feminine coming together collectively to heal the divine masculine with our spiritual gifts, projecting that energy out there. I destroy and I release all past pain, heartbreak, survival mode energy, all of these things off of the divine masculine, and then lighting a candle, a green candle, and writing on there, the divine masculine is healed. He is empowered. He is strengthened, not just towards your own personal masculine, but towards all masculine, so we can balance out the energy. And so I feel like it's going to take a certain amount of spiritual work that has to be done first before we come forward and, just in this. Because I think Woman King was just too straightforward and direct, like too bold and in your face type of energy. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I can only imagine that maybe for the masculines is not ready for that. It could just be, it's like it's too strong and it's projecting this energy that says, well, you're not strong enough. In the back of their mind, that's what they're feeling. It's like, and maybe it's because with all of the things that we've gone through as a community, the melanated man has not been in a position to really stand up and protect the woman in a lot of situations. Not saying that they haven't, but for the most part, the enemy hasn't given them that, he's stripped the authority away from them and put the belief system in their mind that they can't protect us or they would lose their lives. And so it's almost like this energy of, okay, so we go from not being able to protect you to now all of a sudden you all are the protectors. What do you mean? You know, it's hard to accept that type of that concept. But I do feel like it's going to take some time, but I feel like that's why we have to do the work in the spiritual realm first, as above, so below. So the more work we do as a feminine energy in the spiritual realm to balance out the energy, not just for ourselves, but for them as well, then that's when they start to awaken and they start to, you know, accept the changes that are happening.
Yeah, that's good. That's really good.
Oh, and this is what just came out, the Emperor. So that's you know, this is when the masculine step into their power. And this is, I was actually thinking about the game of chess earlier when we were speaking on this. And so it's like they start to understand their role in the game of life. You know, I know that the queen, I haven't played chess in so long, but there was a message that was brought to me months and months back about the game of chess and how the enemy is using that tactic, specifically the game of chess, to, you know, play their hand against us. And so the queen is generally protected and she rides with the bishop in the chess game, and the bishop deals with the religious structure or the spiritual belief systems.
I was going to say, because for the divine feminine, or for women in general, most who make up the congregation of the church are the feminine. You got men, you know, in leadership as pastors and ministers, but for the most part, it is the women looking, like you said, to that religious structure. And even in this case, I'm seeing a lot of sisters who are breaking from that, and they're older. They're more, you know, like you would think the older you get, the more you might like, maybe I might want to put my beliefs back intact because I don't know how much, but they're like standing up and saying, no, you know, I see past the deception and the fraud, and there's something higher. There's something that I have going on in me that's going to make this, you know, that's going to be my salvation, so to speak.
Right. Yes, I definitely see that, because we're the ones that, you know, just like most people on the surface understand that the feminine energy usually has the strongest intuition. And that's because we usually are more, it's like we're designed to have more of that spiritual connection. And so even when it comes to the game of chess, like I was speaking about here, we have that connection to the spiritual realm. And so we have a stronger advantage when we're able to see things from a higher perspective and do the, you know, play the game from a higher vantage point, you know, seeing it from a higher perspective. And so we can see, we have the gift of seeing when we offload and, you know, remove the veil. And once we can see what's happening in the spiritual realm, then that's when we step into our power and we shift the energy there. And then everything begins to change in the physical. And so I do feel that the masculine will come into a space where they'll begin to embrace our position, and they'll be, you know, they'll play their role as we play our role. And even in this card, he has the Ankh here on his arm, you know, which does represent the masculine and feminine energy. And so I feel like we're moving into that space, but it's just going to take us some time to get there as far as balancing out the energy between the two. But we are going to get there, and it will be very empowering. Yeah, I just right now, you know, with the Five of Swords in the reverse, it's like that energy of fighting one another, you know, trying to one up one another. And so the moment we come out of this, but it's in the reverse, so that's good. You come out of that energy of being in competition with one another, then you start to embrace what each person has to bring to the table. And so that's definitely what I'm seeing here. Did you have any other questions in regards to that particular subject?
No, I don't, not necessarily, but I did want to go circle back to something that you said in prior when you were talking about the new movie, the new Black Panther movie, and I did see it, and I was disheartened, like you said, at the end or even through it, to see how they put that so-called Hispanic and so-called Black, pit them against each other, and then at the very end of the, you know, movie, not, you know, not hopefully not giving us spoiling it, but the fact that they even said, you know, let them, it looks like they've won, they have not won, give them time, they're going to destroy it, that it's going to fall apart, and then we'll be there to take over. And that's right. That's the narrative that is being played out, you know, even down to, you know, the what is he? I don't want to call him the president, but that guy. He said
Right.
when they came together some months, after his election, and our folks were going like, "What about us now that we got you in?" And he was basically like, "You got to worry about it's more of those than you." And I'm not.
Yes.
That's basically what he said. Thanks for
Yes.
your vote, but it's more them than there are you. That you need to worry about them. And so you
Right.
see that theme in that movie, and so I was very disappointed in that, seeing that.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely, I went in with the expectation that, okay, whatever spiritual uploads I need to receive from this movie, I'll receive them. And I did see a few things, but that part was disheartening to see. And then, even towards the end, I don't know, the Hispanic leader, I don't know what his name was in the movie,
With
but
the wings on his ankles, yeah.
right,
That's
his wife or his feminine counterpart, she did not want to see him join forces with the Black Panthers in the movie. And so
he said,
he pretty much
I
made
with you. Yeah.
right. He pretty much made a promise to her saying like the enemy is going to attack them, and when the enemy attacks them, they're going to need us. But it was almost like saying at the same time, and when they do need us, that's when we're going to come in and take our power back again.
That's what,
right.
Yeah.
So it's still like this underlined, you still got to watch those that you come into union with that might not have the best intentions, but they might show you one thing on the surface, but behind that, they're really still trying to take that position of power back again. And so that the movie told a lot about what's really happening in the physical realm. And so I don't see a disconnect between anything. There's always a message in everything as far as what's happening in our so-called reality.
Right. So that was an underlying but that was a subliminal message that they were putting out there. Well, I don't know. It was blatant. It wasn't subliminal. It was blatant. Right. I'm trying to say subliminal. No, it was very blatant. If you saw beyond the, there's always a lot of big excitement in the trailers to get you in there. And then when you get there, it's like, well, where's that they get that one little part in there, but the rest of it is like, okay, right. This is not, I'm not gripping the edge of myself. I'm not excited. I'm really kind of disappointed. I'm disappointed right. At, because why they even brought that aspect in, I don't know. We have enough to fight so-called them than to add that. So here they are trying to do further separation of so-called Black and brown people, so-called.
Right. Right.
All, those people that they put in there, the way we would say that they were all Moors. So again, it was creating, infighting.
Yes. What you mean, someone out from outside of the circle? You're saying?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you think in terms of, say, being a Moor, in the larger term, there are Moors that look like those ones with the feathers on their ankles. So if that was that, then they were all it didn't have anything to do with the, some are high yellow, so to speak, and, blue, deep blue, but right. It doesn't mean they're not the same. And that's the thing. Again, it was pitting one against the other and saying, we're going to take over. What we're trying to do in terms of the divine feminine now is, how can we come together? How can we come together? Because we have a common foe.
Right.
I'm just calling them foe. That's a good, better word. We have a common foe that will take you down. Just if one of us takes the other down, guess what? You're next.
Yes.
Because they are always going to want to be in power. So we have to join our forces together in the spiritual, as you said, because as above, so below. And we have to stop taking it out of the physical realm and seeing it for like, I think more of us need to go to a class like what I'm sure you do it with your clients, when people start to reawaken and do their shadow work, and like you said, and learn how to do the spiritual work, then we can be on one accord.
Right. Right. Yes, definitely going within. It starts there first, because that's the only way you can awaken your gifts. Otherwise, they're going to remain suppressed. And those gifts are not to be used haphazardly or in a way where you're abusing them, because that's one of the issues that we've had, unfortunately, in the spiritual community, where, some people take the wrong path with those spiritual gifts and they use it in a way where you're working against each other, still the same energy. working against one another. This person made me mad, so I'm going to put some spell work on their boyfriend or their girlfriend or something like that, but not realizing that those gifts are to be used for us to actually shift the energy of what's happening, concerning the enemy, not our own people. And I had to do a whole message about that too, because you just want to be careful with how you use those gifts. And that's why when you do the work to heal yourself, you automatically step into those gifts with integrity and honor. So not to abuse them. And so not everybody is meant to be a spiritual warrior, but those who are supposed to be one are awakening. And, we're preparing ourselves to step into our positions, which I've been doing it for a while now. It's been shown to me for at least a year now that I've had to do the spiritual work to, I don't know if you've seen some of my messages as far as destroying contractual agreements like the baptism certificates. And, that's another way of pretty much giving your soul over to a false god and illusion, just the same way as you would give yourself over when signing at birth. That's the spiritual reflection of that. The baptism is connected to all of these things. And then the birth certificate and the social security, you already know, because you believe in the sovereignty and removing yourself from the system. And so, I too believe in pulling yourself away from the system. But if you have not created your sovereignty in the spiritual realm first, then it's not balanced. You still haven't fully stepped into your power. And so for me, my position is to show people how to gain their sovereignty in the spiritual realm. And then you have others who are here to show people how to gain their sovereignty in the physical realm. And so we're balancing the energy out, but all of it is just as important. We all have really divine purposes, and we have to awaken those gifts so that we can know what that looks like for us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I have my original birth certificate, and it's a big 8.5, I guess, maybe by 11 or 8 by 10. It's very old paper.
Okay.
And I have it in front, but it has my mother's thumbprint, but it has my footprints on it. And now that I know what I know, I guess that was back then, 1955. I was signing my own self away. They used my feet as that don't look like that by a long shot anymore, but that was my signature. That was my autograph. It was my footprint. And
yes.
It's on, it's so we didn't know what we were doing back then, nor did our parents. Once they started it, they didn't know that they were signing the child away, or signing away rights to their child or so forth. And then until now, what we're seeing is folks that are going in, if they have to, having their babies and then refusing to sign the birth certificate. They're literally coming after people who don't sign,
trying to take their children and things of that nature.
Trying to take their children away.
Yes, I mean, they're becoming more aggressive because they realize that there's going to be, just like with those who are becoming doulas. They're wanting to work against those people who would rather have a doula at home to help them give birth to their children. And so they're seeing that we are disconnecting. We're pulling away because too many melanated women are dying in the hospital giving birth. I almost died giving birth to my last child. You see what I'm saying? And so it's happening too frequently. I've seen many young mothers laid on their backs in a coma, in their 20s, and their grandparents, the mothers of these young women, bringing the babies and laying them on the mother's chest. And they're in their 20s laying up in a nursing home. And that's where they're going to be for the rest of their lives. And so it's like the system is set up for failure when it comes to our people. And of course, the DCFS, or whatever you want to call it, Child Protective Services, they have all of them. The whole system is rigged. The school systems, the teachers, everybody is mandated reporters. And so it's like it's hard to get around the system when you're still very much so a part of it. They have it set up so that it's a trap everywhere you go. You look this way, you look that way. There's always someone there just watching and monitoring and waiting for you to get out of line or to even seem like you're stepping outside of the box. And so in that regard, yes, they come after us, when you don't decide to put your name on the dotted line. And I wish I would have known then when I was having my children what I know now, but I had no idea. Now, what I did pull away from was doing like certain, the mandated I call them miniature swords. You know what I'm talking about. So I stopped doing those. And, now I'm currently homeschooling 5 of my children, so I do that. But it's so many different areas where it's like they have it set up so that you almost feel like you can't come out. And that's why that card, the 8 of Swords, came out, feeling trapped and feeling like you're bound and you can't, you have no power. You have no power of your situation. But once you start to awaken, and when you begin to recognize the power that you have in the spiritual realm, there's nothing that man can show you in the physical that you feel like you can't overcome. It's like you just step into this warrior mode, and it's like, okay, I wish you would. I wish you would try to tell me that I'm not the captain of this ship. You don't run or control any facet of what's happening in this household or in my life. And so that's when you start to project that, right, that powerful energy. And that's what these people are afraid of. And that's what they're trying to prevent. And so, yes, they come in with this aggressive energy now with, a lot of these things that's happening to, the melanated man, and it's being being put out in public through these videos and things of that nature, because that's just, they're wanting to put us back to sleep through the energy of fear, because they know that once you awaken to the power that you possess within, there's nothing that they can show you that's going to put you back to sleep or tell you that you're not strong enough to overcome their agenda.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, there's a lot. Again, I'm going to keep reiterating what you said about the self-work that has to be done, the personal work. And that's probably where the major disconnect, as I'm sitting here thinking and, listening to you, like a lot of times we want to save the world, but we haven't even, or fix the world, and we haven't fixed ourselves.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We have a lot of personal work and housekeeping, and if you say internal, that needs to be addressed. And yet we have this keen eye to really be able to pinpoint somebody else's shortcomings or their failures. And perhaps, like I said, if we are reflections of each other, then if you see a lot of negative in somebody else, that's probably a reflection of what you see in yourself.
Absolutely. I believe that everyone that we have an encounter with is a mirror reflection of, especially if it's a negative encounter, they're a mirror reflection of a wound that's been suppressed and hidden. And they only come in and they cause all of these traumas and, this chaotic energy in your life, because it's to remind you, hey, they're inflicting pain, and you recognize this pain. This pain feels all too familiar, right? Do you see it? So that you could start to dive deeper and say, okay, now I understand. It's because there's a wound. You might have someone that dealt with something, maybe abandonment from a father figure, or a father figure that misused or abused their mother. Then you're attracting someone to you who's abusing you in a relationship, or you have the same cycle, the same pattern of people that you attract, and you don't understand why they keep re-inflicting that same type of pain. It's only to show you and to remind you of the deeper wound that you have that hasn't been addressed, going back to childhood, dealing with your father. So, and even past life energy, I believe that people in this lifetime come to be a mirror reflection of things that we might have projected in a past life that we need to correct in this lifetime. And so it goes deeper, but it's a matter of how deep can you see? Are your spiritual eyes closed to where you don't get the lesson? So yes, lay down, baby. Get in the bed. Oh, I'm sorry, my baby turned the light off again. My goodness. Okay. All right, there we go. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So that's even folks that don't even believe that way, that there's indoctrination, especially that religious indoctrination. They don't believe in past lives. They believe in one and done. They don't. I've done work as far as doing meditation and Reiki, and literally picked up on past lives of people in the circle, while just by lightly touching them. And then when we come out of it, and we kind of talk about what the experience was for the one who was giving the Reiki and the one that was receiving, it's almost identical. They had the same experience. Or I had a situation where these were modern Europeans, or Albions as we would call them, and I'd never seen them before. And I'm getting that these two women were like mother and daughter in a past life, but they were reversed. In this life, they were daughter and mother. And
Right.
so I'm asking the question about this, what I'm seeing and what happened to him. And I asked the daughter in this life, do you ever feel like you're her mother? And or does she treat you like you're her mother? And the woman says, "Oh my God, yes!" And she was upset because her mother apparently didn't act. She couldn't come to her mother the way she felt she could because her mother was always leaning on her as if she was. I said, that's because in your past life you were her mother
Right.
and she was your daughter, and they still had that dynamic. And she felt like her mother was sort of a failure as being a mother because but her mother was still looking at her as her daughter, as being her mother.
Yes. Still trying to
So,
get the mothering that she probably didn't get in the past life. Yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm sure that happens in a lot of situations now, but unless somebody like yourself who has the gift or the skill to be able to intuit or I don't know whether you do past life regressions or anything like that, but whatever you do to get to that, they might never be healed in this lifetime. And so I think the key is to get as much work done each lifetime so that you don't have to repeat. It's like repeating a grade.
Right. To jump off, I call it the negative karmic cycle or the negative karmic wheel. So for me, I wouldn't necessarily call it past life regression, but I do have a way of tapping into the characteristics and the energy, the personality traits that was being projected in the past life. And what I find is people will say, well, in this lifetime, I'm completely opposite, but so opposite that it's working against me. So let's just say in a past life, you might have been very cold and you wouldn't let anyone in. You was very, you used your intellect as the forefront of your personality, but you hid every other aspect of your emotions. Then in this lifetime they'll say, no, I'm over giving, I'm too nurturing, and people misuse and abuse me for that. Was because in this lifetime you're trying to compensate for what you didn't do in the past lifetime, but you're leaning too far into that energy of giving. You're being passive now, and so then you end up creating a different type of karma for yourself, because now you're attracting narcissists that misuse and abuse you. And so it's a matter of finding that balance so that you can rise out of that negative past life energy into your higher self, which is moving from the south to the north node type of energy. So I do find that even in relationships, people end up attracting partners who are the opposite. So like if you have a partner that's mistreating you in this lifetime, you more than likely mistreated them in the past life. And so they come
Mm-hmm.
in to project that energy just to show you. So it's really interesting. The deeper that you dive is it goes pretty deep.
So when you find this to be the case with a client, how do you go about helping them? And I don't need the specifics per se, but what are the various processes that they have to go through to um, adjust that in their life so that they, if, like you said, they might be leaning too far to the left or the right in this life. How do you get them back to center so that they don't have that conflict?
I find that just when we do the past life readings, just the knowledge of being able to see who they used to be versus who they are now, some part of that begins to bring them back centered again, because they start to recognize like, oh, now I see that I've been doing it this way, and okay, I was doing it wrong at that time. So then they start to understand how to bring that balance back, because they recognize that both sides, both ends is off balance. And so then I'll pull cards and I'll see, okay, well, what can you do to balance out the energy? What do you need to do that's the opposite effect of what you've been doing? Some things you don't have to pull the cards on. So like if you're someone that's over giving or too nurturing, then it's showing me, okay, you're leaning too far into your feminine energy. So now you want to start practicing establishing healthy boundaries for yourself, speaking up for yourself, and not, if you're not receiving a reciprocal energy back from that person, then okay, it's time for me to pull back a little bit. Don't overgive of yourself. And so these are like things, it's like more so common sense, but sometimes I have to show them what chakras are blocked. At that point, it might show that there is a blockage with the root chakra specifically. They might be dealing with some fears, survival mode energy. It's different things that come to play. So it's kind of hard to say exactly what I would do specifically. It really just depends on a person. But there's many different ways to kind of tap in and see how the energy can be balanced back out. But it all definitely starts from within, and just starting to see that everything is a mirror reflection. So it's like once their eyes are open to seeing past the illusion, then it's like they start to realize that they really do have the tools to shift their circumstances. They just have to don't get so emotionally submerged in what's happening in your physical environment. See it from a spiritual perspective, and then at that point you don't absorb it, you don't take it on, you don't take it personally anymore, you don't take life experiences so personally. You start to remember, I'm a spirit having a human experience, and so then you recognize you have more power than you believed in, in the beginning, when you thought you was just a physical being that maybe just had a spirit.
Right. Wow. So if we take a few questions, or like maybe a single question for some of our listeners, or what would you need from them to pull a card for someone?
Just the question.
Yeah, that question. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So
or if they just want a general, they can just say general, whichever one is fine.
Okay. So if you would like to have a card pulled for you, just put what do I want you to put a 1. Yeah, put a 1 in the chat, and we'll get as many as we can that way. And I think that will be easier rather than somebody asking you a question. So if you would like, okay, so here's the first one. I'm going to try to get them, put them up. Okay, MW, I don't, is, okay, I'm going to try to get as many as you can. So I'm going to pull a card.
Okay. So let's see, for MW. So I'm just going to pull a random card from the deck here.
Okay.
So MW, it looks like you want to get rest. You want to focus on resting and rejuvenating yourself, getting your balance back, getting grounded again, focusing on working on your root chakra is important right now. I feel like if you feel like things are kind of stagnant, or it's not moving fast, or you feel like there's some postponement, it's only because this is your time of rejuvenating your energy and getting back balanced again internally. And so this is not the time to be overly focused on doing, but more so just centering yourself and finding that peace and balance again. So be comfortable with any energy that feels slow right now and use it to your advantage to heal and to rest.
Okay.
Let me see.
Is that okay? Here we go. Medusa.
Medusa is next. Okay, let's see. What should Medusa know? Okay, so Medusa, I have here trapped in fear. There's something that you want to work on here. It looks like it's self-imposed entrapment that you're in right now. You might be needing to, it's something about maybe having to step outside of your comfort zone here. Maybe that's what you're fearful of. The number 8 can deal with your abundance. So I don't know if you're trapped in fear in regards to feeling like there's not a whole lot that you can do about your circumstances when it comes to financially or your security. But I do see this energy of needing to come out of your head and to offload any overthinking, because it's an illusion that's being created. It's not your reality. And so consider that your thoughts do help to form your reality. And so you want to be very conscious and aware of your thoughts right now. Yeah, the energy of fear definitely still deals with the root chakra as well. So you want to work on your root chakra when it comes to that.
Okay. Andre Renard and Maxine.
Okay. So for Andre. All right, Andre. You got a lot that you want to say here. So you have here, your dreams need a practical plan. This is a full moon in Taurus energy. So maybe something that you're wanting to create right now, you might not be able to see it because this card was in the reverse. So it could indicate that maybe you're putting too much emphasis on trying to create something in the physical, but you haven't quite created it in your mind's eye just yet. So it feels like you want to reverse it and start to see the vision, create the vision in your mind, and then start to implement the practical things in order to make it happen in the physical. That's what I'm seeing for you. Definitely seeing it in your mind's eye and then creating it. You need a practical plan though. So if you feel like you don't know what you want to do, then you're being called to allow yourself to go within, listen to your intuition. It could be also that you might want to work on your sacral chakra too and your third eye chakra. I feel like both of those are standing out to me. So that's what I'm seeing for Andre.
Okay, next one is Leslie Fuller.
Leslie. All right, so for Leslie, I have here, have faith in your dreams, but it's in the reverse here. So you might be losing faith in something, or you wanting to implement more faith, which is, believing in infinite possibilities, I feel. Maybe you're limiting the possibilities when it comes to something that you want to bring into your life or that you desire to attract into your life. So come out of that energy of maybe focusing in on one outcome, or it's only one possibility, it can only come from this direction or for that person, and you want to really expand your expectations, and really step into your power and using your faith as your source of power when it comes to this. You got some butterflies in this card, so I do see something about transformation, some sort of transformation you might be going through right now, that's awakening your I'm also picking up, you might be having a transformation when it comes to your dreams, like literally your dreams. So having faith even in the messages that's being shown to you in your dreams, because there might be a gift that you're starting to awaken here. But definitely have faith in whatever you're working on. Have faith in those dreams, or increase your faith.
Okay, Tanya Bunn.
Okay, Tanya. Okay, sorry about that. So for Tanya, okay, I have here moving on, but it's in the reverse. So maybe you're considering moving on, whether this might be a relationship or whatever this is something about going back. But the only thing about it is, in this card, the moving on literally takes you from something that's lifeless to, light and life. These leaves are alive, these are dead. This energy is more dark and heavy, and this is lighter. So it feels like if you're going back into this energy, you want to be careful about not walking back into something that was potentially toxic for you, or not so good for your growth, and that might have just kept you in this energy of feeling dead spiritually, is what I'm picking up on here, or not really alive. So just consider that if you're considering going back to something or someone. That's what I'm seeing for Tanya.
Okay, the Herbal Goddess.
Okay, so the Herbal Goddess, let's see. Okay, so for the Herbal Goddess, I have hope here. So that's beautiful. It looks like this is the Star card. So something that you might have been hoping for, or, this is like the wish fulfillment card. It's in your hands. Whatever it is, that light is in your hands. You have the power in your hands. And so something good is coming towards you, possibly specifically concerning your abundance, with the number 8 here, 17 breaking down to an 8. And so I do see that whatever it is you've been hoping for is coming towards you, because you've done a lot of work to heal. And I see this energy of you've been through a lot, but you've overcome a lot too. And so because of that, you're attracting really beautiful things to you.
All right. Samia, violinist. Samia.
Samia, okay. All right, Samia. That's a pretty name. Mm-hmm. Samia.
I don't know what Samia or Samia, but.
Okay, so Samia. You have here, be proud of yourself, but it's coming out in the reverse. So you might not be giving yourself as much credit as you deserve. So it feels like, not really seeking validation from others, but giving those accolades and that praise to yourself is really important right now. Maybe it's time for you to stop and take a look at where you've come from, and where you are today, and to be proud of the achievements that you've made at this point in your life. And yeah, because this is Taurus energy. It could be dealing with your security of those things that you built in the physical. But I feel like there's a strong energy of needing to really give yourself the praise that you deserve, and maybe not being so critical of yourself. Be proud of yourself. Don't judge yourself, and try not to expect others to be the ones to validate your success. You validate it for yourself just by seeing where you came from to where you are now, because you know the work that you put in. So be proud of that work and take the time out to, relish in it for a while. That's what I'm seeing here for you.
Heather Jeter.
Heather. Okay, so for Heather, I have stand your ground. So you might need to stand up for yourself right now. This is all about, establishing those healthy boundaries for yourself. You might have some people that's in opposition to where you're headed, but I do see you have an advantage being in, from this like the Seven of Wands. So you do have an advantage over those people that's trying to work up against you, because you stand, higher in your position. And so I feel like you definitely want to maintain that protection for yourself, but maintain those healthy boundaries at the same time. Stand your ground and know that you're going to continue to rise here.
Jasmine Miller.
Jasmine. Okay. So let's see. For Jasmine, know your worth. Know your worth. It's coming out in a reverse, so it does show that maybe there's, recognizing who you are, recognizing your own value. And let's just say, because I'm getting a lot of Taurus energy tonight, it's coming out strong. If you're working on something, let's say you started your own business, or that's something that you're desiring to do, don't let people talk you down or diminish. You know your value, you know what you bring to the table, and so establish that and stand on it. And people will respect you for that. So know your worth, and not just that area of your life, but in all areas of your life. Here's what I'm saying.
Memory.
Okay. Okay, so for memory, your cards are sticking. Let me see. Okay, so we have the crown chakra. So for you, memory, I definitely feel like you want to focus on working on your crown chakra. Something about spirituality is strong for you. Um, it feels like there could be certain things that you want to awaken spiritually. You might be going through some form of a spiritual awakening, where you might be evolving higher in your spiritual wisdom. Maybe there's certain spiritual uploads. That's what I like to call them, that's coming in here. So continue to do the spiritual work so that you can receive these messages that's coming through. I don't know. I want to pull an extra one for memory just to see what that means for her. Patience is in a reverse. So it could be that maybe you're running impatient when it comes to awakening your spiritual gifts, but they are growing here. They are growing. If you can see that the seed starts off in the spiritual realm, and then it begins to grow in the physical. And so it's just put in the spiritual work, and you will see the physical manifestation, in due time and divine timing, with the number 5 here. So that's what I'm seeing for memory.
Denyatta.
I
believe.
Okay. All right. So for Denyatta, I have the universe coming out in the reverse. So this could indicate that a cycle wants to close out, but there's some resistance. I don't know if you're caught up in like a negative karmic cycle where you find yourself going through the same type of situation over and over again, or maybe holding on to something and maybe resisting change. You might not be doing it. Maybe someone is holding on to you. There's something about change here, but I also see the number 3 here, which could indicate that you may not recognize your power to be the co-creator of your life. And so maybe that's what's keeping you stuck. It could be that you're not putting in the spiritual work to visualize and to manifest and creating in the spiritual realm here. There's an energy that's keeping you stuck. I want to pull an extra one for her too. Okay, rest and rejuvenate. Oh, maybe you feel like something is not changing fast enough. It just feels like you're at that space where it's you've put in a lot of work. You're expecting for a major shift to happen, but it's like that point in between where after doing all of that work, you're now needing to just find that moment of rest before things pick up again. So I'm picking up an energy of just be patient and continue to ground yourself until that time comes, because it will come. It will come. Just don't resist whatever changes needs to happen. Allow it to unfold and play out naturally, and continue to maintain your peace and balance while the changes happen. So that's what I'm seeing here for from her.
I would say Nathan Jacob.
Nathan Jacob. Okay. Okay, so for Nathan, I have here reward and recognition in the reverse. Maybe you're feeling like you're not being recognized for some sort of work that you put in, or some sort of seeds that you planted here. Maybe you could also be feeling not so successful or confident. Let me see. Yeah. Be bold and make the first move is in the reverse. So you're needing to take the initiative towards something here. And at that point, you'll get the recognition and the reward that you desire. But it feels like you're going to have to step out of your comfort zone to do something. Being bold and making a first move would deal with solar plexus energy. And so your courage and your confidence is very important right now. So work on your solar plexus.
Michael Johnson.
Okay. All right, Michael Johnson. Believe in your good luck. Let me pull one more for you, Michael. Okay, heart chakra. Okay. So it feels like you're wanting to do some inner work here when it comes to your heart chakra specifically. Something about your faith, not believing that maybe you don't feel like you can attract certain things or people, places, or things. Maybe it could be something dealing with love specifically, but believing in your good luck in a reverse just shows me that you lack faith in being able to attract what you desire. It could be specifically concerning love. So I feel like there's definitely work that you want to do on your heart chakra at this time, so that you're confident that the energy that you're projecting, you're going to attract based on what you're putting out there. So it could be that you might not believe that you can attract certain things because there's a blockage to your heart chakra. And so you might not be projecting the best energy. And so you might not anticipate the best outcome. That's just what I'm picking up for you.
Okay. Oh, nope, that's wrong thing. Let me get to it. Okay, here we go. Nagam Bay. I can't say.
Okay.
Nagam. Nagam.
Oh, okay. Nagam. Let's see.
And I apologize if I'm butchering some of your appellations.
I do it all the time too, but I can still pick up on the energy regardless.
Okay.
So let's see. I have here material harvest. So you've been planting some seeds and something is growing. I feel like you can expect that your financial abundance is going to increase. Um, and if you feel like you was going through with the number 9 here, if you feel like there was a cycle that you was going through where things were not growing, that's coming to an end. You're moving towards a new beginning here. And so you can anticipate that, you know, the seeds that you planted is going to reap a pretty good harvest. And so I also pick up this energy of surrendering as well, with his hands up like that. So surrendering and just allowing, you know, everything, you know, just that energy of receiving, surrendering what you don't need, whether it's thought processes or fears surrounding your finances, and just having your hands open to receive based on the seeds that you planted.
Pure Soul Bay.
Okay. Okay, so for Pure Soul, I have here be bold and make the first move, coming out in the reverse. So there's something that you need to do here. Let me just see if I can clarify, what is this? Be bold and make the first move towards what? Your success. So you see this person is literally in action. So this is dealing with triumph. So there's something that you want to make the first move towards. I mean, he's waving a red flag, so it could be something concerning your security. But also with the number 7 here is showing me that, you know, definitely doing the spiritual work to gain that confidence to move towards creating whatever this is in the physical. So yeah, triumph and success, you will move towards it successfully if you make the first move, but you're going to need to be bold enough to do it. And so solar plexus again is important for you, is what I'm saying.
Okay. Ace. Did I click here? Okay. There we go. No? Did it come up? Okay. Ace. Ace. Yeah.
Ace.
Ace Griffin Bay. I'm sorry.
Okay. Ace. All right. So for Ace, I have here. Oh, you got material harvest coming out too. So it looks like you've been planting some seeds, and you can anticipate that you're going to have a pretty good harvest coming in as well. Let me just see. Oh, okay. So it says go wild, go wild. So this is that energy of being very confident and bold, strong Leo energy, stepping into that lion-like energy, knowing that you have the power, the strength, the authority. Things are going to pick up here. I feel like a lot of people respect you, and they recognize who you are largely because you recognize who you are. And so there's that energy of just shining and just collecting, you know, your harvest. You're going to receive a lot based on the work that you're putting in here.
Okay. Sek Ma'at. Sek Ma'at.
Okay. Ma'at. Okay. All right. So for Ma'at, oh, 2 cards came out at the same. Wow, both of them are chakra cards in the reverse. That's interesting. So you have the throat chakra as well as the crown chakra. So definitely you want to put in work for both of these, throat chakra and crown chakra. What I'm picking up for you with these 2 coming out is that you might have a spiritual calling to like be a spiritual teacher. And you're needing to work on these 2 chakras in order to receive those divine messages so that you can then communicate them. And so if you feel like that's your calling, then yes, work on these 2 chakras specifically.
Okay. J Black.
Okay. All right, so for J Black, dang, it's hard to get a card out from you. Okay. So you have 2 cards in reverse, patience and success. It feels like you might be running impatient when it comes to some level of your success here, and you're needing to practice that patience here. I mean, the seed, it feels like if you haven't planted the seed in the spiritual realm, you're wanting to do the spiritual work right now. This could be what's causing a postponement in your success in other areas of your life, because there's work that needs to be done and you're needing to be patient with the growth process. And so there's certain changes with the number 14 breaking down to 5 that has to happen here. And of course, with any growth, change has to happen. You know, it's not growth that change isn't happening. And so maybe you're losing your patience with certain changes that has to take place that doesn't look like success. Maybe it looks like the opposite of success, but you want to see it from a different perspective and know that the changes are literally things being moved out of the way to pave the way for success. So you might be running impatient with the changes that's happening, but just know that if you shift your perspective of what's happening, then the success will come. Be patient with the process.
Okay. Lindsay Negron.
Okay. Okay, so for Nancy, so I have emotional withdrawal in the reverse.
Yeah, that's Lindsay.
Oh, Lindsay.
Lindsay.
Oh, let me shuffle again. Okay, because I was saying Nancy. Okay.
Lindsay.
Lindsay. Okay, so for Lindsay, I have here suffering in silence in the reverse. It feels like there's something that you should be communicating. It's destined for you to speak your truth about something, maybe something that you used to suppress in the past, or that you might have been afraid to openly communicate in the past, but it's destined for you to come forward with your truth, your testimony, whatever it is that you need to speak. With this coming out in the reverse, it's like that energy of coming out of silence. And so there's a completion of this cycle with the number 9 that's happening here in a new beginning when it comes to you openly speaking your truth. And so it's meant for you to do this. And I feel like you want to work through any, if you maybe you should work on your throat chakra, do some work on your throat chakra just to ensure that when you are called to bring this truth forward, you feel confident and ready.
Mimi.
Okay, Mimi. All right, Mimi, you have here the waiting game. So you've been planting some seeds here, and it's a matter of growth. It's a matter of change happening. But I do see the harvest coming in. Maybe you feel like some things are just postponed. You're like, okay, it's not moving fast enough. It's almost like watching clothes dry. But I feel like in this energy, instead of watching the clothes dry, you want to go down the street and get you a smoothie, because this, literally this person is standing here watching and just waiting for this to grow. And so if you're watching it and you're like, really just putting your focus on when, then it's going to feel like it's taking forever. But I feel like you want to project that energy in a different direction that's going to be just as nurturing to whatever it is that you planted. And so, stepping away from it and putting that energy towards just experiencing life and having a good time. And you'll see it happen in divine timing. Just give it time to grow, and it's coming, whatever it is.
All right. Lynn Newman.
Okay. All right, so for Lynn, okay, I have 2 cards here. I have patience, and then I have forgive in the reverse. So there may be some unforgiveness. I don't know if you're consciously aware of this, but if you're not, I feel like if you're patient, you're going to see where the unforgiveness lies. Like sometimes we're not aware of where, who we haven't forgiven. It could be you needing to forgive yourself. It doesn't always deal with someone outside of yourself, but be patient with this. It feels like the unforgiveness can definitely postpone the growth of something. This could be you, your own personal growth. that might be kind of stagnated because of some unforgiveness that you might have suppressed. So dive deeper with the Pisces energy here. Listen to your intuition. It's going to be shown to you. And at that point, be patient with your own growth and allow yourself to go through whatever change is necessary. Um, Forgiveness is going to nurture this seed right here, because that's going to open up your heart chakra. And at that point, you'll project the right energy to nurture whatever it is, whether it's yourself or something outside of yourself.
Ernest Bennett Jr. Bay. Ernest.
Okay. All right, Ernest. I have here suffering and silence in the reverse for you as well. I'm going to clarify that. Suffering and silence. So I have believe in your good luck in the reverse coming out too. There's something that you may have been suppressing that's causing you to not have faith in being able to attract certain things to you. It could be it's a wound that has been suppressed, something that you haven't spoken, something that you need to speak. And once you offload that, once you communicate your truth, it's going to help you to attract good things into your life, or it's going to increase your faith. But whatever this is that whatever you haven't been openly speaking, you're needing to. And it's going to help you to, if you've been dealing with a tough cycle in your life, I feel like it's going to help you to overcome that once you openly speak your truth. So throat chakra for sure. I feel like I'm even picking up on crown chakra when it comes to your belief and your faith. So throat chakra and crown chakra is what I'm picking up for you. But there's something that you need to communicate, and that's going to help you when it comes to attracting better things into your life here.
Miana or Miana, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Miana,
Okay.
maybe.
And I do want to say, because the messages are so short, if anybody needs a full out reading, then you can always email me. I think I did see my email. You've already posted that.
I put it back up when it's being covered by their names. So.
Okay, Miana.
Let me let it scan. Yeah, Miana. Let me.
So Miana, I see you have heartache and loss here. Maybe you're going through some sort of heartbreak, and you have surrendered to the divine in a reverse, which is showing me that you want to get back that balance. The way that you mend this heartbreak is to put your energy back towards the source. For me, I like to call the source the Most High, Mother and Father. But whatever the source looks like for you, you want to put your energy in that direction and not become closed in this type of energy, because it's like you're not seeing the infinite possibilities that exist outside of being too submerged in the heartbreak and the loss. And it could be causing you to suppress your emotions, where you're not openly speaking about what you're feeling because there's so much blue here. Something going on with the throat chakra. And it's almost like you don't want people to see the pain that you might be going through, because her face is covered with her hair. So I feel like if you surrender to the changes that's happening and allow yourself to embrace that connection that you have to the divine, it's going to help you to heal and to mend whatever this energy is right here. Okay.
Tavon.
Tavon. Okay. All right, so Tavon, you have here patience. Patience is coming out a lot lately. Let me see, what is patience here? Okay, material, this deals with your prosperity. Prosperity begins. So being patient, you have two cards that's very similar. Both of them have seeds that's been planted, and it's like that energy of watching and waiting for it to grow. But both of them came out in the reverse, which shows me that you might be losing patience when it comes to a harvest that you anticipate is going to come in. There's some sort of balance here. The number 1 is on this card, 5 is on this one. bringing them together with the number 6. You need to come into harmony here within yourself and find that inner peace, because it feels like you might be overly focused on the growth of something or anticipation on something growing. And, you're wanting to redirect your focus, plant the seed, nurture it, and just allow it to grow without monitoring it too much. Be patient though, and that prosperity will come in.
Okay. Anya Wally. I
Okay.
apologize.
All right.
I apologize.
Let's see. So I have the sacral chakra. Let me see what's going on with the sacral chakra. Oh, you got 2 cards here. Okay, the sacral chakra deals with the third eye chakra and attuned to the divine. Okay, it's backwards for me. Sorry about that. Okay, attuned to the divine is here. Both the third eye chakra and attuned to the divine both deal with your spiritual insight. Sacral chakra, I'm picking up on more so for you, creativity. I feel like your spiritual gifts will awaken if you have some sort of codependency or something that you do habitually. You want to clear that out so that you can awaken your spiritual gifts right here. So if you feel like you have a spiritual calling and you're trying to figure out why it's blocked, it could be because there's some sort of codependency that needs to be cleared out. So work on your sacral chakra and your third eye chakra.
Desiree?
Okay.
And those of you who've already had your readings, if you want to say, something in the chat, I see somebody said hit the nail on the head and everything, put a comment in there.
Yeah, I am curious to know, because I can't see on this end, but I like critique, good or bad. It doesn't matter. I take it all, So, I got 3 cards for you, and wow, all of them are in the reverse. Well, and this is for Desiree. So what I have here is balance, spirituality, and practicality. Then I have emotions are running high, and I have work through your fears. So it could be that things may not feel balanced right now because there's more work that you need to do. I don't know if you're putting too much focus in on the practical things in life and not doing enough in the spiritual to balance out the energies, but it is suggested here that you balance out spirituality with practicality. I feel like doing the spiritual work is going to help you to overcome whatever these fears are. Got a lot of purple coming out in 2 cards, which indicates you want to listen to your intuition in regards to what these fears might be. Using your spiritual insight to clear out those fears is going to help you to find your balance again. So definitely root chakra and third eye chakra. You might write down something like, I destroy and I release all fears, known and unknown, in spirit and in flesh, and let that burn through. Because it definitely feels like the fears is what's throwing you off balance, whether you're aware of them or not, they're here. So do the spiritual work to clear the energy out. And I feel like things will balance back out for you, but consistently do the spiritual work. That's the important part.
Okay. Medusa.
Okay. All right. So Medusa, work through your feelings. In the reverse, it could be that you're suppressing your feelings and you need to make adjustments with allowing yourself to feel whatever it is you're going through. I have Aries here. This speaks on last quarter moon in Aries. So in the tarot deck, that's the Emperor, which the Emperor can be kind of stubborn and a little bit hard because he can be leaning too far into his masculine energy. I don't know if you would consider yourself more alpha, but it feels like you want to balance out your feminine energy so that you could start to feel more. So definitely I'm picking up heart chakra energy when it comes to that, and allowing yourself to, embrace both aspects of yourself, masculine and feminine, and it's going to help you moving forward.
Ruby Thompson.
Okay. All right, Ruby. So I have transformation. So you're going through some major transformations. This is usually the death card as well, which indicates something might have been put to rest, whether it's a belief system or actual relationships or a job situation. Something, an ending has happened here. And this is actually going to help you to come out of your shell and to fly higher, though, because this is a butterfly. She's coming out of the cocoon and, she's transforming into that butterfly. So from that vantage point, you can see more opportunities and you can move towards them because you're a new person. And so heart chakra, green, she's wearing green here. I'd say do work on your heart chakra, but also, projecting the energy of love is very important here. Um, you might have gone through some changes, like a lot of chaotic energy to go through this death and rebirth. So embrace whatever changes you had to go through or that you're currently going through, because it's leading you towards a transformation that's going to change your life here.
Charlotte Bell.
Okay. All right, so for Charlotte, I have success. Okay. So it looks like you're definitely opening up the doors to success. You're moving towards your success. And I feel like you're confidently and boldly doing it. With the, I believe that, yeah, Black Panther there. We were just talking about the Black Panther. So you are moving towards your success here. Look at that. Confidence is your key to success. So there's a lot of success that you're moving towards, and you definitely want to step through those doors confidently, courageously. So, with this card, it's a lot of yellow here with the lion. So work on your solar plexus, but I definitely see that success is yours. You've been putting in a lot of work, and I feel like you're confident in whatever it is that you do. So be prepared to move through those doors and just work on any confidence, courage and confidence, especially if it deals with communication, because I do have the throat chakra at the bottom of the deck here. So work on your throat chakra and your solar plexus, and I feel like you'll be ready to walk through those doors of success with no problem.
Shining Blossom.
Okay. So Shining Blossom, you have the sacral chakra in the reverse. Let me see. And you have the foundations and achievements in the reverse. So for you, you definitely want to work on your sacral chakra. It could be that your security is off balance, maybe even something concerning your home front. You feel like it's not stable, it's not secure. And I definitely pick up an energy that like your creative gifts might be blocked. If you have any codependencies, then you want to definitely clear that out to heal your sacral chakra. And also, if you have any traumas from your past, like childhood, specifically like sexual traumas, you want to definitely do a clearing out of that energy as well, because it could be blocking your spiritual gifts. If that's not the case, then it could just be that you're just needing to do the work on your sacral chakra because you're lacking confidence, something about insecurities, about your gifts specifically, and your ability to create security for yourself or to maintain that foundation. You might be wondering why that's happening, or why you can't awaken your gifts, or why you feel like your gifts have not awakened. It's because of your sacral chakra blockage. So I feel like you're going to have to go pretty deep with this one. I feel like it does start within a household and maybe even from childhood. So I do see that for you.
Okay. Les BK Bo.
Okay,
Les.
I'll just say
Maybe it's
less. Less. Okay. Okay, so for less, I have reward and recognition. So you're going to be recognized for something. I feel like, yeah, some beautiful things is coming towards you. You might have people that's applauding you and supporting you for what you're doing. You might be put in the public eye. So I feel like you should prepare for that. something about your creativity with the number 3 here. It could be something that you're doing that's attracting people to you. So you will be rewarded and recognized for something that you're doing here. And I feel like it's going to be very like unfamiliar. Let me pull another card just to see what this is. Okay, so you have harmony in the reverse. So if that kind of for me indicates that there might be an imbalance when it comes to a relationship, some sort of connection. Maybe you're anticipating to be recognized in this connection, or it could be that things are happening for you now because you released a connection that was not in harmony with your life. And so whichever way it goes, you will be rewarded and recognized for the work that you've been putting in here.
Queen Belina Day.
Okay. So for you, okay, I have 3 cards coming out. So throat chakra and success, and the sun card is here. The light card is here. Actually, okay, so now that I'm looking at them from this angle, the throat chakra is in the reverse, success is in the reverse, and the sun card is here. The sun card can indicate that you will move towards happiness. You will find that success, but right now there's a blockage to your throat chakra, which could somehow impact your success. The sun card can also illuminate something here so you can see it more clearly. So if there's something that you need to see, that you will see concerning your blockage of being able to communicate something openly. This work on your throat chakra. If you have a fear of speaking or communicating and your success kind of relies on you being able to openly communicate, then this is where you're needing to do the work to heal. You might even be called to step into the spotlight because the sunlight is on her. So maybe if you have shyness or that energy of insecurity about that, then you're wanting to work on your throat chakra and your solar plexus with all this yellow here too. So both of those.
Miss AJ.
Okay. Do you speak about the chakras on your channel?
I haven't had anything specifically, but I work with chakras,
Okay.
with AO scan and and with Reiki.
Okay. Because I don't want to speak a
The
language that's
chakras,
foreign.
no. Yeah, I think most people know about the chakras, but I think what a lot of people don't know is that the chakras tie into also physical ailments that one might be going through, as well as the meridians. We do that with AO scan. And some of those things I don't talk about on here because you run the risk of that being construed as medical. So when we go on the other platform, we'll talk about those things. But I think most people, they may not know how to clear,
Yeah.
or balance
Okay.
it, but they know that they're chakras.
Yes. Okay. So then I have prosperity begins here for you. So you've been planting some seeds and the harvest is coming in. It's a new beginning here with the number 1 up there. Um, at the bottom of the deck, it says patience and planning. So it feels like you're just wanting to be patient with the growth of this seed that you planted here. It almost, I'm picking up a strong energy of springtime if you're wondering when something is going to come through. Because even for this card, we have the various seasons here with us being in autumn season, moving into the winter, and then it feels like it begins to blossom and you have this full abundance here in like more of the springtime. So something is definitely coming into fruition. Just continue to nurture that seed and it's going to keep growing.
Cheleni Howard.
Okay.
I hope I said your.
Okay, so for Cheleni, I have truth here. So you're gaining some sort of clarity about something. And I feel like this is a deep truth because this person is looking out into the cosmos here. So it feels like whatever this truth is, it balances the scales for you. Something comes into balance with you having an understanding of something. Let me see what I get for truth. So wonders is here. Yeah, with this card, this is like piercing through the veil, piercing through that thick cloud where you wasn't able to see things clearly in the past. But this is also, it looks like this is like a amethyst here. So it's like whatever this truth is, it's a spiritual one, and it allows you to pierce through what seemed impossible before is no longer, you're not in that energy anymore because you see things from a higher perspective. It's like you see that there's infinite possibilities, and because your mindset has changed, so do your circumstances. And so this wonders card for me, it reminds me of like something unexpected, like what people might call the impossible happening in your life because you now see through the illusion. You've pierced through the veil because of your understanding the truth. You gained the truth. So that's what I'm seeing here for you. There's going to be some great changes that happens because you've shifted your mindset about things.
Okay, here's Marcelavine Doe.
Okay. Okay, let's see, Marcella. So I have here for you, okay, material harvest is coming in for you as well. So you've been putting in some work. Know your worth. That's very important. Let me see. And then, okay, foundations and achievements in reverse. So it could be that you've been waiting on something to come in so that you can find some more balance and security when it comes to your home front or your, just your security in general. It is coming in. So anticipate that it will, whether this is a new job or a new business venture, something will come in that's going to balance the scales here. So I feel like you're just needing to be patient. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, because it's still both of these cards. 9 plus 4 breaks down to a 13, bringing it back to a 4. So it's like you still, the security is there. So just know it's coming in.
Cynthia Jefferson.
Okay. Okay, so for Cynthia, I have sacrifice and go wild. So these two cards are kind of opposite of each other because sacrifice deals with postponement and just kind of waiting while you see things from a different perspective. But then go wild is like that energy of take action. So it could be saying that right now you want to sacrifice. You might feel like you want to move and take action on something, but you're needing to just take the time out to stop for a minute and shift your perspective, then take action. So don't move too fast. Don't move prematurely. I feel don't be too impulsive with some sort of action here. Shift your perspective, see things from a different perspective right now, and then take action.
Rowan Mason or Rohan Mason.
Okay. All right. So what you have here is victory and success is in the reverse. Let me see why it's in the reverse here. Oh, I'm picking up something else from that too. And then power is in the reverse. So I don't feel like this is saying that you're not going to be victorious and successful. What I'm picking up just from the image is that you want to move in silence right now. Because this is somebody that's blowing a trumpet, like letting the world know I'm victorious and successful in some area. Don't say anything just yet, because with this power coming out in the reverse, it could be that people want to try to strip you of your power, putting the wrong type of energy out there. So I feel like it's a matter of just giving it time. In the right time, it'll, you should express it. But right now, not yet. Keep it to yourself, and in divine timing, then you'll bring it forward, is what I'm picking up here.
Okay. Do you have time for, we have a few more. We're almost at the end. I have someone here. Tanya said that I skipped her, Tanya Bunn, but I'm almost certain we did her almost at the very beginning. She was one of the Do you remember that one? I think I did. She just has to go back and listen because I'm almost certain I did. You did her. But almond cookie. Did we do almond?
I don't believe I did almond cookie.
Yeah, but Tanya Bun, I remember the word saying bun. So Sister Tanya, just go back and do the replay when we started this, and we did do you. She did do you. Rather.
Okay.
I did. She
so
did.
Okay. Almond cookie, you got the heart chakra coming out. So something dealing with matters of the heart. Let me see what this is. So then you have attuned to the divine. So it feels like your connection to the creator is going to become stronger the more you're projecting the energy of love. I'm picking up a strong energy of healing that's happening for you. I feel like you want to take a salt bath as well. Just need to pull one more. Happiness is in the reverse. Yeah. Something is going on with the heart chakra. And so if you find that you're not really happy right now, or you're feeling the opposite effects of that, is because something is going on with your heart chakra and you're needing to work on that, and definitely attune, find that divine connection to the Most High and your spiritual team, and you'll be able to heal whatever this is. You'll be able to heal. Because whatever is going on with your heart chakra is directly affecting your happiness here.
Okay. Let me get to this other one. I'm wondering if they're asking. I don't know whether maybe that's not clear. They're not asking for one. It has somebody else's. Let me see. Aman Al.
Okay. Is there a lot more people left here?
Well, there are quite a few. I'm looking.
You know, everybody that come in, they're gonna be like, "I want one," you know.
Yeah.
I can do. I'll say about 3 more.
Okay. All right.
Okay. I apologize for those of you that didn't get it, but I will say, because I do put this out there for lives that I do these messages. If you have a question, you could set your intentions that whoever comes up next or the person after that their question will be in alignment with the question that you're seeking. So you can do that too to get your answers. So for mine, I have suffering in silence. There's something that you need to openly communicate, or that you're being called to speak here. Rest and rejuvenate is in the reverse as well. So finding your balance internally is going to be real important. There's some healing that needs to happen, but it feels like, though, for you, I feel the opposite effect for you. I feel like you're ready to come out of this energy where you might have been in hermit mode and not communicating as much, but now you're ready to come out and communicate and interact, and you have rejuvenated yourself. I'm picking up a different type of energy for you with these cards. So you know better than I do, but I do feel like you're ready to come out and speak some sort of truth here. It feels like you're lighter in your energy because you've done some work to release some things. But if you haven't, then the opposite is true. It just means go into that energy of resting, rejuvenating, finding your balance again, and offloading anything that you might have been suppressing. That's important.
Okay, so you got 2 more. So here, Glamjadaret. That one.
Okay, I'll take glam. Okay.
Glam.
All right. So for glam, I have accelerated motion and focus on the positive in the reverse. So it's showing me that if you feel like things have not moved ahead and it feels postponed and things are moving slow, it's because you're not focused on the positive. You're focused like the opposite effect. So you want to really evaluate your thoughts and see where are your dominant thoughts. Is it leaning towards those things that's in opposition to what you want, like the negative things, or is it leaning towards the things that you do want? Get your focus back balanced, and you will be able to move things forward, and it'll come towards you. But it's what you're projecting out into the universe that's coming back. And so it could be that to keep you from self-sabotaging the situation, things could have been put on a halt. Things could be halted so that you could stop, reevaluate yourself and your own thoughts, and then get your balance back again, get back focused on the positive, and then things will pick back up from there.
Okay, and the last one, Janelle Blash L. Janelle.
Okay. For Janelle. All right, Janelle, I have wow, this suffering and silence keeps coming out here. So gateway, wonders, and suffering and silence in the reverse. So there's a door that wants to open for you. Both of these cards reminds me of moving towards like the what seems to be impossible. You know, you have a unicorn here, which is, you know, something that most people have never, you know, never seen in their life, you know, but it's a gateway, it's a door to something that's, you know, like miracles. Because I think that's, oh no, that's the gateway card, but it's like something where it's like you wouldn't anticipate that if this would come through. But with it coming out in the reverse, it's like you're not ready to walk through this door yet. There's something about your own transparency, embracing your own uniqueness that's going to really help you to be prepared to walk through this door. Because the unicorn for me is you being unique and different and embracing that. And it's all white. So it's something that you need to purify and cleanse from within. I feel like it deals with something that you might be suppressing that's in, you know, with this suffering and silence card coming out. But once you do that and you cleanse your energy and you step out there with your own authenticity, get back to your origin, your organic self, then you will find that some doors are going to open. Is you can't even anticipate what you're getting ready to walk through, but you will be ready to walk through those doors when they open once you offload anything that you've been suppressing. So that's what I'm seeing here for you.
Well, Sister Xavi Zayn, I just want to thank you for giving of yourself. I put your contact information here. Y'all know she does a lot more than just tarot readings. She does, spiritual counseling and what? Give us a list of what you offer.
Well, mentoring, I mean, I can show you where your blockages are in terms of your chakras. I have a new page that I put up on Facebook recently where I'm going to be bringing like divine partnerships together. We'll be discussing love. That's called Xavi Zayn Spiritual Love Vibe. You can come on there and we'll have like interactive lives, you know. So there's various things that I do, but we can if you want to get deep and you want to find out, well, where is my blockage? Why is it here? What do I need to do to shift my circumstances? I can give you whatever spiritual prescription you need in order to move towards your destiny. So I can't really put a name on it. I try to define it, but I can't really define it so well. But it is what it is. I'm a vessel, you know.
Now, how often do you do live on a regular, or do you do them as you're given downloads to put out there? So
I just recently started doing lives, but the videos that I do, I generally, if something comes through like a message, then that's when I bring it forward. But the lives now I'm starting to do those more often because I find that it's a lot of people that have a hard time paying the hourly rate. And so the lives gives them the opportunity to pay a small fee and to answer a question. And then, to give them some clarity about what's going on without having to wait and, try to save up the money or whatnot. So I'm going to start doing more of those on my channel.
okay.
But yes, in terms of the Facebook page, that's going to be just me, bringing unions together and, doing readings about love specifically.
Okay, so that's sort of like one of those matchmaker sites.
Yes, for the
Okay.
spiritual community. Yes, for the spiritual community.
Okay. So you would be able to. That's great. You all that are looking for love in all the wrong places, you can get your made in a different place. Because I'm assuming that you look at the charts and so forth, and like synastry and so forth, right?
Well, I can't say I'm a specialist on that. I need to work on that. It's something that I will be doing in the future, but right now I'm not. You got to go to somebody else for that particular part. But I will look at the energy. I can look at the energy to see what are they projecting versus what you're projecting, and will it work together? So that's how we'll do it.
Well, listen, that is great. And like I said, I just want to thank you for coming on and sharing of your gifts, because you gave a lot, even 1, 2, 3 card pulls for folks, and you gave a lot of information that I'm pretty sure resonated with a lot of the people. And unfortunately I can't see but I do see some comments there from some of the folks that you spoke to. And
Okay. Well, thank you for having me on, Dr. G, and I appreciate all of you who was here to support the message, and I hope that you receive whatever clarity you need, and I look forward to anybody that wants a personal reading, and thank you.
And check out Xavi Zaine Tarot Investigator, which is her YouTube channel. She's also, as she said, Love Xavi.
Xavi Zayn, Spiritual Love Vibe.
Spiritual Love Vibe on Facebook.
Yes.
Yeah, we still use Facebook. See, everybody else is on TikTok. And they told me that Facebook is for old folks, but I'm an old folks.
What? Well, see, I'm old anyway, so hey.
Me too.
That's okay.
Right. But thank you so much. And hopefully we will be able to do some things, with the sisters. I mean, you got your group, and hopefully we can collab on some stuff and some presentation. I'll get you to be a speaker on some of the stuff we're doing, because we need to do that inner work. You know what I mean? And that's going to be a big part of being able to move together as a collective whole, like lockstep. We got to do the inner work. And so appreciate all of you all for tuning in. Please like if you have not, and share this video. Especially the first hour, because the first hour was general information that everybody needs to hear, and the last hour I saw folks were dropping off probably as they got their reading. They dropped off. They don't want to hear other people's reading, but still, I appreciate those of you who stuck out, stuck on for the whole broadcast to hear the end. And I do apologize. And she did look, we already 11 minutes over your time, and this is a mama. She's not, she got babies that you as you have seen, you saw one of them, but I appreciate you for taking time out of your schedule and being here with us. And I'm hopefully that you will come back again.
Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Thank you again. Thank you so much. And as we go off, and I have to do a little thank you for the people that volunteered last week. I left names off, and when that's like a no. You say them all or you don't say any.
That's right.
And so I had to come back and do a correction, and I just wanted the folks to know. I'm just gonna put this up between us. I guess I'm gonna have to take down your take the banner down or something. Here we go. All right. So, we had volunteers last week that were at the House of Reawakening Mind. They did some great work. And I wanted to give a shout out to these great, fine folks. Sister Francesca L., who is our volunteer coordinator, Brother Raz Jai Bay, Brother Joel David Thompson L., Brother Anu Wia Bay, we call him Zero, Brother Asarank, Amir Tamandingo Mayat Tahudi Bay. I told him he picked every possible name to name himself. Sister Beverly L, Brother Sabur, Lawrence Tunica L Bay, Sister Ciasia Universal Bay, Brother Michael Wesley Lawrence Tunica L Bay, and Brother Isaiah. Thank you. And then I also want to say thank you. You know who you all are, to everybody who supported the financing of us being able to get this other platform. Yay, we got it. We're going to be scheduling some stuff real soon. That's that one where you won't have to be on Facebook or YouTube to see it, and we'll be able to have up to 10,000 folks on there. So this is awesome. Nice. We're going to be able to bring people like yourself, on there to do workshops and so forth. So thank you, each and every one of you. It's too many of you for me to name, but if you gave, then this thank you is for you. And I just wanted to make sure we did that. So again, thank you, Sister Xavi Zayn, for being on the show. And
all right, thank you, Dr. G.
With each other. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
Dr. G. Dr. G. Really? Oh shit.
Yeah, that's me.
Dr. G. Really?